Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Inside the Mirror podcast. I'm your host, Kyle David. If you didn't know, now you know. Hey, thanks for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see that I'm in a new place. I got a new house. I've got a new office. Bigger, better, more fun. I don't know. But I'm happy to be in a new spot and still be rocking with the podcast. Hey, today I want to talk about something that has been top of mind for me the past week. I've been talking about it with my team at work. I've been thinking about it a lot. I've been reading about it, and I want to share it with you. I want to talk about the idea of excellence. The idea of excellence, being excellent. My favorite definition of excellence that I found that I like is excellence is the quality of being outstanding or extremely good. Being outstanding or extremely good. That's what excellence is. And I think we live in a day and time and a society and a culture that doesn't prioritize or commend excellence, right? Being extremely good or outstanding at things. I will say this. I think we cheer and champion excellence in certain things, right? Professional athletes, entrepreneurs, very rich or successful people, we say that they've done it with excellence, right? We say they're excellent. But what about the small things? I think excellence is actually more about the small things than the big things. I do. I shared a video this week with my team by, I think his name was Tom Peters. I'm not totally sure, but I think it's Tom Peters. And he was talking about this idea. He said, excellence is the next 5 minutes. Excellence isn't 20 years from now. It's not far down the road. Excellence is now. Excellence is the next 5 minutes. It's the next small thing that you do, right? For example, like I said, we think excellence is a long, great career or a lot of money or a business that has succeeded over time. And that's fine. I think excellence is the way you talk to the next person in the next conversation that you have. I think excellence is making sure that when you sweep the floor at your house, you get everything. Like you do it outstanding, extremely good, right? I think excellence is saying thank you to the person that bagged your groceries and being intent with them, making them feel special. I think excellence is when you send a text or an email, you make sure that the grammar is good. Not for the reason of being perfect or the reason of what will other people think, but being a type of person that does everything outstandingly good with excellence, right? Some other things, right? Like in the next conversation you have, like being present, listening really well, not listening to respond, but listening so that the person across from you feels heard and feels valued. I think that's excellence. I think cleaning your house really well and not just half-assing it is excellence, right? I think getting to work on time, not 1 minute late, not 2 minutes late, but 1 or 2 minutes early or right on time, I think that's excellent. I could go on and on and on, but I think excellence is underrated and something that we don't do a good job of as a culture of being excellent in the small things, being outstandingly good in the small things, right? Like, I think there's an opportunity to grow there. I really do. And I want to share a quote here from Martin Luther King on excellence. It's one of my favorite quotes, and it's in a book that I have that talks about excellence. I can't remember the name of it. What is it? I think it's Commitment to Excellence is the name of it. Hold on. Sorry, let me find this. Okay. So this is the Martin Luther King quote that I want to share with you. And it says this: if a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep streets as Michelangelo painted, or as Beethoven composed music, or Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will pause and say, Here lived a great street sweeper who did his job well. Right? I love that because he's saying in all we do, we should do it to the level of Michelangelo, who painted the Sistine Chapel, right? Like, we should do it to the level of Beethoven composing music, right? Be so excellent in all that you do that you are legendary, even in the small things, right? And I want to be remembered, and maybe you do too, and maybe you don't, and that's okay if you don't. I want to be remembered as somebody that was excellent in the way I did all things. Not perfect, but excellent. I was outstanding. I took the small things just as seriously as the big things, right? Again, I took my interactions with the random people at the grocery store as seriously as my interaction with the CEO of the company, right? I want to treat every interaction and everything that's put in front of me with excellence. And hear me here, I don't do that well. I don't always treat the small things with excellence. Sometimes I give 80% and I'm like, that's good enough, right? Or I sweep and I clean and I'm like, that's good enough. I didn't need to get the corners anyways. They're fine. I'll get them later, right? I fail at this all the time. So again, the goal is not perfection, but it's to be someone that continuously is looking to be more and more excellent in everything that you do, right? Everything that you do. And what do you get, right? This is the question that I try to answer all the time is what's in it for me, right? Like if I'm excellent, what do I get out of it? Right? Because everybody's asking the question when they're told to do something or when they feel they need to do something, the question is always, what's in it for me? And I don't think that's totally wrong, right? We want to know that there's a reward or a repercussion when we do the right thing. I think there's a few things. I think there's mainly three things. I'm sure there's more. Three things that came to mind for me that you get when you're excellent. First of all, you get a sense of pride and confidence, right? You get a sense of pride and confidence knowing that, like, I did that really well. You can't buy that. You can't buy a sense of pride and confidence in excellence, right? The only way to feel like I did that really well is to do it really well. There's no secret, no hacks. You just have to do things with excellence really well, and you will have this sense of pride and confidence that, man, I did that extremely well. So that's one, a sense of pride and confidence. Two, I think you get a sense of satisfaction. There's a feeling of satisfaction when you do something so excellently that's outstanding and well that you can't really, again, you can't buy, you can't create. There's this feeling of, man, I feel satisfied. I know I did my very best, right? When you do your very best, it's unmatched. It's unmatched. Doing your best is so satisfying. And then the last thing I think you get is a sense of fulfillment. I think when you do things with excellence, I think it eradicates a lot of anxiety in life, underlying anxiety that you can't really put your finger on, but you know, like, I could have done better. I could have done more. When you do things outstandingly with excellence, there's a sense of fulfillment, knowing that I'm moving through life, doing all that I can and doing my very best. Like, you can't buy that. You can't create it without just doing it, right? When you're outstanding and you know I'm doing everything to the best of my abilities, there's just a sense of fulfillment that you achieve that you can't get any way else other than just being excellent. So those are the three things I think you get from it: pride and confidence in the things that you do, satisfaction, right? Knowing I did my very best, and then fulfillment, knowing that I'm living my life at a standard of excellence. And that's so fulfilling, right? I'm squeezing the most out of life by being excellent in all that I do. My job, my relationships, the small things, the person at the grocery store, the way I pump my gas, the way I sweep my house and clean my kitchen. When you're doing everything with excellence, you're living an above standard life. You're probably the 1% in the world, and you should be so proud of yourself. Again, not perfectly. There's going to be some times where you miss the boat, or you don't do it to the standard that you wish you would have. But when you are doing your best to be excellent as often as possible, you're going to feel a sense of fulfillment that you just can't get anywhere else. So that's where my head's been at. That's something that matters to me, and I'm continuously working on improving at and being better at, being excellent in all things, especially the small things. And I just think it matters so much. And I think you'll have so much more fulfillment in life if you live a life that's focused on being excellent in all things. So I hope something there was helpful. If it was, share it with somebody and help me spread the word. And let's make an impact. Let's change lives, right? Like, let's do things. Let's do this with excellence, right? I want to do this podcast with excellence. I want to communicate with excellence. I want to inspire with excellence. So thanks for your time. Thanks for lending me your ear for a few minutes. I hope it was helpful. And I'll be back next week with another episode of Inside the Mirror podcast. Adios.